track. The T20 World Cup is upon us, and we're getting you the latest content, latest information, whatever we can. We're bringing it to you on down the track. I have with me my co-host Babar Aziz, and today we'll be discussing the mother of all battles, blockbuster clash between India and Pakistan. It's been 2 years since they played each other, and I'm really excited for this game. Don, your initial thoughts on this match?
Oh man, it's anytime India Pakistan play, it's just a different amount of emotions that go through. It's just one of those games that the rivalry is quite extreme. In the to put it straight, Matthew Hayden, who's been part of several Ashes tournaments himself, has said that India Pakistan rivalry meets like no other bounds. Like we know how serious the Ashes rivalry is. So he's saying that India Pakistan is bigger than that. So that says a lot about what this game means. And unfortunately, Pakistan, especially in ICC tournaments, have had poor luck compared to India, who've always been able to get the better of them in ICC tournaments. Although I think that this game is going to be a lot closer. I think that this is one of the better Pakistan sides I've seen in the recent past. I think that they have a more balanced side. I think that they have a good mix of youth and experience because of the likes of Shoaib Malik and Mohammad Hafiz, who are very experienced players, and they have some good youngsters in Fakhar Zaman, Imad Wasim, and Babar Azam. These guys who are now peaking in their careers. So they have a good mix of youth and experience, and that's why I think Pakistan will not be as easy as India have found them in the recent past. With that being said, India is also in top form. I think that they are looking good, but the only problem is I feel like India has a little bit more of a problem. If you think about it, like the more deep analysis I do into it, Pakistan's bowling is not as strong as we've seen it. They probably have one or two loopholes, but India's bowling also, if one of the top five bowlers that they go in with gets smacked, then will Hardik Pandya bowl? That's the biggest question. Or will it be someone like a Virat Kohli who's probably going to have to turn his arm around, which could go south for India. So that's a big problem. And the form of Virat Kohli with the bat. This is another big issue that India have. So if I think about it, on paper, India is the stronger side, but on current form, I think Pakistan has a slight edge because Pakistan has been performing really well in the T20 circuit as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. It's not going to be as simple as one of the games in the past where India were clear-cut favorites. I think it's a lot closer this time, and we'll just see how it goes.
Are you being very cautious with your statements, or you genuinely believe it's going to be close?
I think it's a bit of both.
I honestly feel that the bowling line of Pakistan is not as strong as it was probably in the Asia Cup, but they were poor in the Asia Cup, right? Or in the the Champions Trophy, I felt Hassan Ali was a different Hassan Ali than he is now. And Mohammad Amir is a big miss, no matter what his form is, no matter what. I think his experience is huge. He's a big match player. He can get the likes of Rohit and Virat Kohli out. He's that kind of player. I think they're missing someone like him. But then on their day, Shaheen Shah Afridi, I think he's a fantastic bowler. They have Imad Wasim who can, lock down one end. So they do have bowlers, but I just feel this bowling attack is not as strong. But having said that, their batting is much better. So like India will have to be careful because they can afford to attack Pakistan. Pakistan can afford to attack India in that power play. They can attack Bumrah and these guys. It's not going to be easy. But because they have somebody like a Shoaib Malik and Hafiz who also play spin very well. So it won't be easy to get them. Varun Chakravarti, he is the mystery spinner, and I think he has to play. That battle between Chakravarti and Hafiz and Shoaib Malik will be key. I think that will be a match-defining kind of battle.
I agree 100%. I think that initially Shoaib Malik was not part of the Pakistan 11 the Pakistan squad and stuff like that, and it was a little bit surprising. But to bring him in when the injury happened was smart. I think that shows that this Pakistan cricket is thinking in the right line. Sometimes in the past they've had selection issues, they've had board issues, they've had a lot of problems. But I think that this is a smart move, and he comes into the 11 with a lot of experience. Along with that, I think the likes of Shoaib Malik and Mohammad Hafiz being able to give you 4 or 5 overs if needed with the ball is a big plus for them as well.
India don't have that in that mid.
India
they
don't have
someone
that.
in the middle order who can also roll their arm over, and that's why I think Rohit Sharma needs to be in the nets. He needs to be practicing.
I don't know why he's not. He used to. I just don't know why he's not trying it. 2 overs. I don't think it's that bad to be able to possible.
It's
Yeah.
necessary. There's a lot of battles that I want to talk about, which I'll briefly discuss with you. But there's one big topic I want to talk about from India side of things. That's the curious case of Hardik Pandya. Please, can you elaborate on that? Because
I
we don't
wish
know
I
if
knew
he's going to
something
bowl.
more.
We don't know if he's going to bat, if he's going to start, if he's going to field. We don't know what's happening with this man. I've never seen a case like this in Indian cricket. It's so delicate.
I honestly wish I knew a little bit more. I wish I was involved in the inner circles of Indian cricket to find out what exactly is going on. Unfortunately, I don't have those kind of resources, and I am as curious to find out about it as anybody else in this in the outer circles. And it just boggles my mind that if you're playing him purely as a batsman, then you have to play him higher up the order and you have to bring in an all-rounder. Number six is your all-round position. Any other team you notice, at least at number six, there's a batsman who can actually bowl a little bit. Or at four, five, and six, you have to have one batsman who can bowl. Otherwise, it's impossible to go in with five bowlers and for them to consistently perform. One bowler is allowed to have one odd off day. It happens. Sometimes you just don't get your lines and lengths right. It happens every time, every now and again. So just to be so much more pressure on this bowling unit is I think a little bit unfair. They also tried Virat Kohli in the warm-up game. That gives us a little bit more curiosity as to if will Hardik Pandya not be bowling, and if he's being played only as an out-and-out batsman, is number six the position, or maybe he goes in at number four and get in somebody else at number six. There's an option to consider as well. We have the likes of Shardul Thakur who's performed with the bat a little bit. So maybe you play Jaddu at six and Shardul at seven. That's an option to consider.
Hmm.
That becomes a bowling heavy side. Then the batting kind of almost breaks down at six or seven. So that's a problem as well. So is that there are these kind of questions that will be questioned, especially if Hardik doesn't perform. And I do hope that the think tank has something up their sleeves and they have some plans, and I'm sure they do. I just hope that they work out, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very big question, and it's going to be a question directly at Hardik Pandya, and it probably will play around with his head as well.
Yeah, Puneet's in the house. Thank you for joining us. He's asking how was Rohit's captaincy. In my personal opinion, there was one sketchy decision. He gave Virat Kohli the ball. He gave him a couple of overs, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure
It's
about that, but but I really like that. Like I like that because I saw Rohit at the toss. I'm like, Kohli's chilling today. He's not playing. But then I saw him take the field as well. I was so confused, but I like that. Like he told him, "I'm going to listen to you, Cap. You're my captain for today." I like that, to be honest with you, and I'm sure that came from Kohli.
Yeah, I think so. I think Virat Kohli, I think as much as we've criticized him in the past, but I think he's also a very, 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 very big team player. I think that
He's
his
learning, and he's
capability.
learning now. Yeah.
He absolutely. I think he wants Indian cricket to do well, and I think that his decision to go away from T20 captaincy and stuff like that shows that he's maturing slowly but surely, and to be on the field to perform and to bowl. Because there is that the whole world knows about it. So obviously all the other teams are also focusing on if he can target one bowler, put them out of the park, then they will be under pressure to try someone else, maybe a Hardik Pandya. We don't know. Maybe they have a Hardik Pandya just ready for the World Cup situation, and if needed on an as need basis. But yeah, I think Rohit Sharma is definitely a better captain. In the long term, is it a good idea or not to have Rohit Sharma as a captain? I have my doubts about that. But
Yeah.
as of right now, I think the fact that he knows that that Virat is going to take a step away, and he's possibly the only option at this point in time, it'll give him confidence as well, to be able to pitch in this season, and that is what is important in the World Cup. If we know that they had some kind of an issue, the both of them, and that created a problem in the dressing room, and that's why I think that there were some issues for us to go all the way. But I think that they've resolved that. I think that they look like they are getting along well with each other, and that's going
It's
to be
clear.
extremely important. Yeah, it's
It's
going to be
clear
extremely
because I
important.
don't know. I don't know if you saw it, but in that warm-up game against Australia, Rohit came for the toss. Rohit was captain, but Virat Kohli was fielding, right? So that just shows to me that it's solved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would never give Rohit the captaincy even for a warm-up game. So I think that's solved, and actually that's good because I think in pressure situations, the reason why the team management and Kohli decided that I felt is that in pressure situations when Kohli's fielding at long on, long off, it's Rohit Sharma who's going to come and talk to the bowlers. They talk they talk about Rohit Sharma as a bowler's captain. That's also because the physical proximity. He's closer when he fields in the circle. Kohli is way far. It's difficult to come every ball. So I think Virat Kohli has given Rohit Sharma a bit more responsibility in this tournament, and I think it can be a combined effort. You always need a vice captain. You always need someone to talk to, and I think that they're both in communicating. It's going to be very good for Indian cricket.
I agree 100%. No doubt about
it. And now, if you just look at the key, we mentioned the key battles: Shoaib Malik and Hafiz versus Varun Chakravarti. If you flip it, the likes of Imad Wasim, Haris Rauf, Shaheen Afridi versus Rohit, KL Rahul, Surya Kumar, Kohli. How do you see that battle panning out? And how do this Pakistani bowling lineup keep putting pressure on India and picking up wickets? Because the batsmen come one after the other.
I think that the one thing that I feel like Pakistan sometimes tend to do is try to restrict the batsmen instead of getting them out. If you notice, Imad Wasim is a very restrictive kind of bowler. He's only looking at line and length. He's only looking to curb the shots ability for the batsman, and that can sometimes prove a little bit of a problem. So I feel like they have to go in with the intent of trying to take wickets. I'm just saying I'm specifically talking about Imad Wasim. But if they restrict him, then they try to take the chances against the other bowlers, and that's how the wickets come. Bowling in partnerships is very important, but I feel like just go a little bit more aggressive towards the Indian batting, because if you can get a couple of wickets quickly, that puts a little bit of pressure in the middle order. With the likes of Hardik Pandya not in good form, that could create a little bit of a panic in the Indian dressing room, and I think that's what's important. I think that they have to be a little bit more aggressive towards the Indian batsmen, and if they can do that, pick up a couple of early wickets, that they're right in the game for sure.
Yeah, and Jasprit Bumrah needs to watch out for that white line when he's bowling to Fakhar Zaman, especially. We don't need a repeat of the Champions Trophy. Don, top of your head, I'm going to go first just to give you time to think. I'm going to give you the Pakistan predicted 11 for this game, and you're going to give me the predicted India 11 and the players to watch out from India side of things. I just feel that it'll be easier. I've been following Pakistan cricket in the last few weeks, so I have a bit of an idea. But still, I'm sure our Pakistani fans who are joining in can probably correct me if I'm wrong. But I'd go Babar Azam, Rizwan as my openers, Fakhar Zaman 1 down, Mohammad Hafiz 2 down, Malik 3 down. Then I'm going Asif Ali, Imad Wasim, Shadab Khan, Hassan Ali, Shaheen Shah, and Haris Rauf. I have Haider Ali in the bank, so if you need to rotate someone like a Shoaib Malik and Hafiz as the tournament progresses, I think that's the way to go. But in a high pressure game, I would play Malik and Hafiz and then see how it goes. You always have a talented player like Haider Ali if you want to give Hafiz or Shoaib a rest.
The very good thing about this lineup is batting up till 9. Hassan Ali can talk the ball. Shadab Khan is good with the bat as well. So Shadab is good with the bat as well. So batting up to 9 gives them that flexibility to just go extreme aggression up top.
This is what I want. If I'm the Pakistani coach, I tell them, Babar, you anchor, Rizwan, you accelerate. Fakhar Zaman come and just smash every ball. Hafiz play aggressive. Shoaib Malik rotate strike. Asif Ali, Imad Wasim, Shadab finish games. Play according to what is required. If it's required 12 and over, go 12 and over. If it's required to take a single, we'll finish off the game.
Absolutely. I think that's exactly what they would want to do. And I think this is a solid lineup.
Yeah, my weakness in this team is the death bowling. We saw in the warm-up games as well. Even the game against West Indies made 130, but 24 of those runs came in the second last over where Pollard hit Haris Rauf for 4 or 5 boundaries. So then we saw Van der Dusen really smash both Hassan Ali and Haris Rauf. So that is the worry with Pakistan, which has not been a worry. I would just tell them to see what Shaheen Shah is doing. He's bowling that slower ball. They're trying to bowl very quick. I think both those Yorkers you can get pasted. We've seen in the IPL as well, when you go really fast and think you can get hit. We need to bowl that slower ball. Is very important in the UAE.
I agree 100%, and they have to learn quickly, because this is the games will come thick and fast, and if they don't perform, then they will go for a lot of runs, and then that will be the problem. And the dead bowling can really change the morale. You go in with 116 overs, and suddenly you have a 160 run target to chase. That could be a big morale down for them.
Yeah, 100%. And the most talked about lineup in the world, the Indian starting 11 versus Pakistan.
Almost actually pretty simple for me, very honestly. Rohit, KL, Virat are your top 3. You play depending on who you want, but I would personally go with Surya Kumar, because I think he's a very classy batsman. So Surya Kumar for me at 4, Pant at 5, Hardik at 6, Jaddu at 7. We play Shami or Ashwin at 8, Shami at 9, and Bumrah at 10, and finish off with Rahul Chawar at 11.
You're not going Varun Chakravarti?
I know you want him, really want him, but I
Bro,
feel
you
like
have
Ashwin
to
has.
play him.
If you want,
Bro,
then you
forget
play him. You
Ashwin,
play.
man.
Ashwin is in good form, so I'm just going with experience over
Okay,
skill at this
look,
point.
if you're playing Ashwin, you have to play Varun Chakravarti instead of Rahul Chahar, but I go Varun Chakravarti just because Pakistan have not played him.
Yeah, I
And we
agree.
saw with Kuldeep and Chahal in the Asia Cup, they had a problem. They just could not pick him. And it was a problem. You could see even in the press conferences and everywhere, they had issues reading a player they haven't played before. You know what I mean? And
I
it takes more than 1 or 2 games to get used to him.
I wouldn't mind going with Varun instead of Rahul Chahar. I
But you
wouldn't mind
want
that.
an experienced spinner. But isn't Jadeja enough?
Yeah, I think Jadeja is enough as well, but I think Ashwin just brings that little bit of thinking. Irrespective of how many times you played Ashwin, you always get you because he has just
Yeah, you
that
have
many
a point.
options in
Yeah.
the bank. You have that many options in the
You,
bank.
You have a point. I just have some bad experiences in the Champions Trophy final, and then that Afridi six getting
Yeah,
smashed. Uh, Even in the Delhi versus KKR game, was it? He got hit in the last
yeah,
over.
yeah.
But I guess like in
But
a
if you
high
give him
stake
the
game,
last over, then it's always going to be difficult. Play him
I
one or
would
two overs in the power play, and then just middle overs and finish him off.
I would go Ashwin maybe in a semi-final if you're playing West Indies. In this game, I would go Chakravarti, but I mean, we can like you have your point as well. I think either or. I could be wrong. You could be wrong. We could both be right in our separate ways. Only time
Yeah.
will tell. It's a good, healthy discussion. I feel it's a very good debate that needs to be had. And one more question I had. So no Ishan Kishan for you, despite having some good form. I also agree with that because felt in the warm-up games he got dropped a couple of times against England.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a risky innings, but it's good to have someone there on the bench and maybe spring him up in a game where you need to go with the run rate or just surprise the opposition.
Yeah, I think especially because Surya Kumar has now got a few runs under his belt in the warm-up games. I think he's just too much of a classy batsman to miss out. I think he's an exceptional batsman, and there's that left-hand right-hand discussion also. But you have Pant and Jaddu. That's more than enough for me, in my personal opinion. You have two left-handers, and most of your batsmen are right-handed. That's not a big deal for me. I think that he's the capability that Surya Kumar brings in. Just if the top three kind of go, one of their top three just go berserk, and you have only 4 or 5 overs left when someone like a Surya Kumar comes in. I think that he continues that acceleration much better than Ishan Kishan could. With due respect to Ishan Kishan, I think, like you said, he tends to give that one odd opportunity every now and again. But Surya Kumar is a very clean striker of the ball, and he's like a little bit like 360. He can hit it behind the keeper also. He can tonk it straight down mid wicket, over covers, whatever needed. I think he's a more all round batsman, and that's why I need to have him in the in my top four.
100%. Very good points there. Just to wrap it up, I'll just make it a bit easier. I'm gonna instead of just asking predictions straight up, I will ask you in like a Kon Banega Crorepati type multiple choice. That's what I meant. Yeah, multiple choice. So, who is gonna get more runs, KL Rahul or Fakhar Zaman?
Ooh, KL.
KL Rahul. Actually, scratch that. Who's gonna have a better strike rate, KL Rahul or Fakhar Zaman?
Fakhar Zaman. But Fakhar Zaman
Fakhar
will have
Zaman.
20. Fakhar Zaman will have like 20 of 10, but KL Rahul will have like a 50 of 30. So even
Thanks
though
for clarifying. Thanks for clarifying. Who's going to have more catches, Rishabh Pant or Mohammad Rizwan?
Ooh, Pant.
Pant. And I'm talking about this game, right? Not the overall tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. Jasprit Bumrah, Shaheen Afridi. Who has more wickets in this game? Who's going to have more wickets?
Shaheen Shah.
Shaheen Shah. Okay. Who's going to have a bigger contribution with both bat and ball? So wickets and runs together. Jadeja versus Imad Wasim. I don't know if you saw this coming, but
Jaddu. I can bet against Jaddu at
it's a
this
tough
point.
one. Like, I think Jadeja right now, as I just wanted to mention him because we were focusing a lot on Hardik Pandya. I think Jadeja right now is one of the best all-rounders up there
I
with
agree.
Sakib, Stokes, all these guys. I think in all formats he's been outstanding, and credit to him the way he's improved his batting, outstanding. And I agree. I think Imad Wasim is also improved, and he's a very effective all-rounder in these conditions. But Jadeja for me right now is like top class. So, yeah. So you're going
Absolutely.
with Jadeja. And then the big question, the massive
Virat Kohli.
question.
I was waiting for that. Virat versus Babar has to come in.
I was going to ask you who's going to get more catches, Hardik Pandya or Shadab Khan. That was my question. Who no more runouts, Yeah, Virat Kohli or Babar Azam.
Virat.
Virat
I'm
Kohli.
bagging.
Right
I'm
now,
bagging Virat to have a great tournament.
Can I just say something? I know we're almost running out of time, but I just want to say something that Babar Azam right now is in very, very good form, amazing form. He's having like last couple of years outstanding. Like, he's
Absolutely.
outshone Virat in terms of runs, but Virat Kohli's average is still 50 plus. It's higher than Babar Azam. His average in the last T20 series against England, it was almost close to 100 if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't 100, but it was like 70, 80. It was a high strike rate. He got a couple of 90s in that, I think, despite not being in form. So Virat Kohli in this will be very dangerous. And one more thing I want to add, that I think batting one down suits him more than opening, because opening he plays a cross shot which is not needed. He tries to enforce, which is not needed. Let KL Rahul do that. Virat Kohli comes, rotate the strike, and play how Babar also he's a one down player. But just now with form and everything, I just feel Virat Kohli, that's his position, one down.
I agree 100%. There's no doubt about that. I think Babar Azam is going to come to his point in his career where the same thing is going to happen. And I think that's when Rizwan and Fakhar will open and he'll come back one down. Because I think that if KL Rahul can give that enforcing, give that start, Virat can get himself in, understand how the ball's moving around and stuff like that, and then go in those last 4-5 overs, because he can make up for all the lost strike rate in 4 to 5 overs. That's all
exactly.
He needs.
And he's the master
10
planner.
balls.
You need the player who's the master planner who can work around. Because Surya Kumar, everyone says, not everyone, but like I get the impression that, he can rotate the strike, but he's a boundary player as well. He looks for the boundary.
Yeah.
He plays risky shots. Kohli is someone who can take the game by the scruff of the hands and take it deep, right?
Absolutely. And that's what he needs to do.
Same thing with Babar Azam. I think same thing with Babar Azam. So it's going to be a very, very big game. I'm really excited for it. Just lastly, who is going to win? Basically, are there going to be Mocha ads to continue or no?
Yeah, Mocha ads to continue. India.
India.
I just hope the next Mocha ad is a little bit better. This one is a slight disappointment.
Yeah, but if Pakistan do win, there might be an India-Pakistan final, but it'll put whoever loses this game. I think for India it will be a bigger loss because Pakistan are a team who do start slow, like you said, and really go at it when they're on the edge. Whereas India, they need some rhythm, right? So yeah, it's going to be a big game. Really looking forward to Don. I will catch you hopefully after the game, and we will chat in between anyway, and I will get your thoughts on throughout the tournament. Really enjoy the games and have fun.
Looking forward to it, man.
Thank you so much for joining me.